Hello, straight pool enthusiasts. I'd like to present you with a player review of a 100-ball run that I completed a few weeks ago. Not doing this to promote a YouTube channel or anything like that, just to share, the run and provide some thought processes of, what I went through with the patterns and everything. The patterns weren't half bad, they weren't perfect. But straight pool's going through a little bit of a renaissance right now. So if there's anything anybody can pick up from this video and meet their own high run goal, I'd be happy to provide that help. In addition to this video, if you want some real solid instruction, I would recommend Jim Rempe's How to Run 100 Balls. It's available through AccuStats. I'll put some links in the description of this video of where you can get those. I believe Pat at AccuStats is selling some of these DVDs to the extent they're available for like $10. It's some of the best, money you can spend when trying to learn straight pool, is picking up one of those DVDs for $10 a pop. The second one, I'd say the Dallas West versus Mike Zuglan at the 1992 U.S. Open. Not perfect pool. You don't see too much of that. But Dallas got out in 2 innings. I think it was a 57 and a 93 ball run, and it's really indicative of old school straight pool. It's not power straight pool. He's not going through the racks real hard. It's a very controlled game. And it's a window into a prior era of how the game was played. That's really fun to watch. It's really interesting, and it doesn't look easy. But nonetheless, Dallas is getting through those racks and really playing some solid patterns. Again, it's not perfect, but it's a great way to study a really solid straight pool player get through the run. Also, Dallas's stroke is among the prettiest I think I've ever seen. Second one, I don't think this is perfect pool by any stretch, but Jim Rempe against Larry Lisciotti at I think it was the 93 main event. Jim had some really solid racks there. He had some unconventional misses, some really big unforced errors, but there are a few racks where he really played some really beautiful patterns. And then, of course, the third one that I think everybody should see who's trying to watch straight pool. And this is available online for free through the good graces of Pat at AccuStats, is Mike Siegel's 150 ball run against Mike Zuglan at the 92 Open. Mike really tapped into, some really pure pool playing there. The patterns, the pace, his rhythm, his thought processes, everything was near perfect. I think he got out of line 2 or 3 times, but it was a very technically proficient run. So I'll drop some links to those videos. But with the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and get started on the run. So I didn't start this run from a clean break shot. This isn't poetry by any means. Got pretty fortunate here, but this pattern is, I've identified the 11 as my break ball, the 8 as my key ball. That stripe right underneath the 11 is a problem. I think I look at trying to get rid of that right now, but I decide that I really need to get underneath the 6 and 2 there. So I pot this 9 in the side, get an angle here to float forward underneath either the 6 or the 2. I'm not really playing for pinpoint position here, just if I can get on either one to make it up in that corner, I'm okay. Go ahead and pot the 2 pretty roughly. But the pattern here is really the 6, float forward, get rid of that stripe. It's really only got one pocket. And then, you play the 8 in the side. It's a nice key ball. Give me a nice follow angle on that 11. But from here, it's relatively straightforward. This is I prefer high ball break shots, meaning I like going into the pack with follow, which means I like to be on the other side. Um, Typically, I think there's one break shot here where I play to get on the draw side of the ball. You can see I got a little bit of a finicky rack here. Um, Getting that rack tight's pretty crucial though. I think I actually get a little kiss on this 6 ball on the corner here, which is a little unusual. Usually I either go 1 or 2 rails forward here, and you can see I go forward, but I think I just catch that 6 on this shot. Yeah, you see it? So of course the only place I could have landed that would have been difficult is right on top of those 3 balls. So that's where I land. I think I bumped this 11 with the cue. Don't sue me. Cue ball fouls only in my basement. A little fortunate there, but I knew that if I came back up into those balls, I'd have a good shot by placing the cue ball in the middle of all those things there. I can even manufacture a break shot here. It looks like I'm going backwards. Yeah, this is where I push the 9 out into the rail. Yeah. Actually, I think I wound up without much of a shot here, but this combo, the 3 to the 5, is pretty easy. But the key here is making sure you leave the 3 in front of the pocket, because the 8 ball is the break ball here. And I got pretty good here because I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll pocket this 7, clear that pocket, and then move the 14 over. Because it was tough to really get to that 14 with those balls there, and I want to clear out the middle of these balls here, because with that 8 where it is, they don't really fit neatly into this bottom corner pocket. That 4 might go, but what I want to do is leave the 9 on that rail as my setup ball, being the ball before I make the key ball on the side, which is that 3. So I'm going to play 2, 14, that stripe in the middle, 9 down the rail, and then the 3 ball on the side, which is a pretty good key ball for that 8 ball in the corner. I way overhit this. I way overdrew this 14. I mean, I wanted to play the this stripe up in the corner below the 3. I got pretty fortunate where I landed, but I overhit that on purpose, thinking the worst case scenario is, I've got to make it in the side. That ball really went into every corner other than that corner where the 8 ball is. So if I whacked it too hard, I'd still be all right, even though I got pretty fortunate where I wound up there. The key was don't come too short. But here, this is the side of the break ball I like being on. This is the follow side of the ball. You can really sort of juice this. You can also overhit this. It's easy to go into the stack, into the end rail, all the way back up table, and you find yourself pinned on the back rail. Done that 1,000 times. Ended it a million runs doing that. All right, so I'm on a 22. This is my routine. I like to go ahead and take a look at the contact point on the break ball. Settle into my stroke and just really, really give this a nice firm high ball break shot. Sometimes you get stuck going back into the stack like that, but feeling pretty good tonight. So these first couple balls, I'm just sort of clearing out pockets. I've probably taken a look at, couple that stripe in the looks like the 2 ball that's underneath it as a break ball, but I got a lot of balls I got to clear out of the way and probably bump a ball or 2 in order to develop a break ball here. Don't want to leave that 3 sitting too long. I probably get there pretty quick. Yeah, I'm probably going to go into these with a pretty controlled stroke there. So that stripe in between those two solid balls there is a problem. I want to get rid of that right away. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's got no pocket, so I'll probably, yeah, no, I do remember. I go into that stripe off the bottom rail here. I'm gonna guess I use that too as the break ball. Yeah. See, I wanted to get much thicker on this 4. I got pretty thin, and I'm worried about going into that 2, or going into no man's land up there if I hit the 4 too thin. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this 11. The 11 might have been a good key ball, but I really wanted to get up there by that 3 and get rid of it. So I've got plenty of options here to get on that 2 or the 6 as the break ball here. So here I wanted to get back out in the middle of the table because this is kind of tricky. So I think I went into the 14 to hold the cue ball. Yeah. Now that ball on the rail, I want to get that off as soon as possible. Balls on the rail are not always a problem. You know, I know that's the conventional wisdom in straight pool. They're a problem when they're a problem. They can make really good key balls. They can make really good setup balls. You know, meaning the shot before the key ball. They're not always a problem, but here it's a problem. And then actually, I think what I want to use is the key ball is to go 2 rails. The stripe ball right by the cue ball. The solid ball right by the cue ball here. You can go 2 rails, which is a pretty good key ball, but I don't think I got really good on it here. You know, what I want to do is go forward, and I'm looking to see if that 7 ball in the middle of the table goes by these 2 balls here into the corner, and it does. I get on the wrong side of it. Yeah, I remember. See, what I wanted to do was stay on this side of it so I could just sort of stun the ball over and then get nice 2 rail position on that 4 ball, but I got on the wrong side of it, and I had to hit a pretty good shot here. I had to kick a field goal. This is just a hair of inside English with follow. Yeah. On a good day, I make the field goal. On a bad day, I run into the break ball. That's the way this game goes at my level. So this is 2 rails around it. I overhit this. I overspun it. I get the angle to go into him, but I'm way too far down table. You see me telling the ball to stop, shaking my head. Yeah. But this is still the angle that I like. I like being able to go into the balls high, unless I'm pretty close to the break ball, and it's a nice flattish kind of angle where you can just really whack it and the cue ball doesn't go anywhere. I think I got one of those break shots coming up. So again, this is my routine. Take a look at the contact point, settle into my stroke, and just fire. You know, I don't like going into the stack real timid. I like whacking this. Yeah. So that's 1 rail, 2 rail. You see me floating up table pretty far. This solid ball right at the end of the air, that's my only shot. As open as I got these balls, that was my only shot. I mean, here I probably want to clear out this back rail. It's not a hard and fast rule. You know, again, there's a lot of conventional wisdom in straight pool that I think is like true 51% of the time. But I find this game, and this is a Johnny Irvolino, tidbit of wisdom. I do think that the game is a lot easier when you're playing your last couple balls underneath or above, rather, your break ball. Not always true. Balls on the end rail can make great key balls with 1 or 2 rail position. But here, I think the pattern is more of a up table pattern to get on my break ball here. Which is probably going to be that 7 ball, which means I want to clear out This ball on the rail doesn't really lead anywhere, doesn't provide any help, doesn't give me any access to any sort of key ball, so it can go. I think these two balls were pretty close together. It really wasn't clear to me if that striped ball underneath the 6 went, so I decided to open up this pocket, draw over, and then from here it was pretty clear it went. Barely. You know, you could miss this. So I don't want to wait too long getting this this stripe up in the middle of the table cleared out. I'd probably go forward here with some inside English. Just run the cue ball. Yeah, just like that. Give me a good position to sort of open up these balls here. I guess I can make, I've got an option of a few shots here. I really want to get that 5 out of the way too. It's either the 5 or the 7. I can't really remember what I used for a break ball. But that 5's got to go. Yeah. Okay. Alright. I see the pattern here. I'm going to play the 5. Go to the rail. I don't think I really got the angle to go to the side pocket, so I'll probably play this, yep, in the other corner. So these are, I guess a straight pull purist might ding me a couple points, and these are far shots, but you can see that the amount of cue ball movement here is very minimal. And I don't think I hit a rail for the last 3 or 4 shots. Now with this, I could have gotten on the follow side of the 7, but I decided not to. This was a choice. Where this 7 is, and the opportunity I got to get on it, you know, this angle that I was able to get, I like this angle because you can hit a pretty flat ball, you know, just a little bit below center, so you don't creep forward into that corner pocket. But you can really hammer this break shot, and the cue bar really doesn't go anywhere. You don't really have to worry about it. Might get a kiss every now and then, I guess, but you can really whack this. So again, same routine. Take a look at the compact point, settle into my stroke, and I'm going to hit this pretty firm. Yeah. You see the cue ball doesn't really travel anywhere. Still didn't do great. I guess I could have come back a little bit further and trying to get the cue ball. Either to the rail and back out, or a little closer to the center of the table. It's not, I didn't put it in the best spot, but give myself a 97 on that one. Balls are pretty open here. I got this cluster in the middle. So that 9 ball is a decent break shot, or the 15. I guess I was probably blocked on the 15. That 5's a decent break shot. You know, I mean, this is really just keep your wits about you. Don't leave anything up table too long, and just try and pick a high percentage pattern. Identify a key ball and a break and a setup ball early. You know, you always want to. It's not enough to just find the key ball. You want to make sure that you get a good path going to it as well. I also want to. I want to get rid of this 6. The 6 blocking the pocket for that 5 there. It's also blocking the pocket if, you know, if I want to get on these cluster of balls that are over by the 15 there. Getting rid of this 6 really opens up like 4 or 5 different balls there. I got up on this shot because I didn't want to go into the 3. I wanted to make sure I missed it, and I wanted to make sure I had a right angle for it. If I went in at 3, it could have been a disaster. I still got too flat on it. Oh, I remember this rack. Yeah, I get lucky this rack. I did not want to do this. This is a bad shot. Did not want to run into that 5. Now I gotta figure out how to get that 5 off the table and open up those 3 balls without creaming my break shot. I think this 5's in the rack too. That 5 was going to be my break shot. Yeah, now I'm scrambling here. Yeah, I think what I wanted to do, I got bad on this 12. This 12 on the side. And I got nervous. I don't think this was a good shot. I came out smelling like a rose, but I don't think I really played this pattern here correctly. What I wanted to do was have a little flatter angle on the 12 and maybe go into the balls off the 13, but I decided to go into him here, completely miss him, go into him on the back rail, come out smelling like a rose. So I guess I probably still got that 14, 15 on the side as a break shot there. This 4 is not a helper ball. This 4 and the other stripe are not helpers. This is a scenario where you don't want them on the. You don't want those balls on the rail. You want to get rid of them. And from here, the pattern is. Those cluster of balls in the middle of the table are a great pattern. This is me taking a look where I want to get on the 5. And this is a shot where you want to make sure you come back too far and not far enough. Err on the side of overhitting this, which is what I did. I think I actually came out pretty good here. Yeah. You don't always have to play your key ball on the side, by the way. I think this is a great show. Again, I don't minimize the cue ball. Don't think you're wedded to some kind of script. This 14 and the angle I got on here is a great key ball. I love this shot, by the way. This is one of my favorite shots where you just stun over. Boom. Just a hair below center. Track along that tangent line. Nothing can really go wrong with it. And the margin of error on that, once you slide past that 14, as long as you don't hammer it too hard, you're in good shape. Even if you underhit it and wind up on the rail, you still got a workable break ball. And then if you come off the rail just a little bit, you're all right. But again, this is the side of the break shot I like to be on. This is what I call the follow side. You can kind of let the cue ball go here and not worry about it. But again, here's my routine. Take a look at the contact point. Walk into the shot. Get settled. Hit a nice follow ball. Let the balls open up. Yeah. They opened up a little funny here, actually. It's a little unusual to get 4 balls up table with a side of the back break shot, but this I gotta go into him off this one, off the back rail. There's no other way to really get into him. And then I need to get into him right away because I need to figure out a way to get those 2 balls that are locked up on the side rail off the table. You don't always get away with this. I actually made that a little worse. That combo could have been made, but now I got to figure out the way to get into it. But I came out okay on that, going into those balls, because the 8 ball is my break shot, and those balls down table are not a bad pattern. But here I got to draw into them, and I hit this perfect. You do not always get away with doing this. Sometimes you get that double kiss and the balls just are still tied up. They're tied up worse. Cue ball stuck to something. You got no shot. This game can be really frustrating. But here I'm just trying to figure out how do I get these balls in the middle of the table off. Because you see me looking, that straight ball towards the head spot, not the one on the back rail, but the straight ball that's in the middle of the table towards the I guess it's it's the head spot. That's a tough ball to get on, really. I don't have a great way to get there, and I don't want to fall forward on this ball on the side rail, because then I'm gonna have a hard time getting these two balls in the middle of the table off the table. See, I didn't get where I wanted there. I didn't get where I wanted on the 9. So I think I hit a pretty good shot, but you know, in the sense that it's good shot making, but uh, it's a little rough way to get through this rack, but I get out nonetheless. So here this is a tough shot to go cross table and really get in that zone where you can fall forward for the 11 off the 4. And these are not the kind of shots you want to be shooting when you're playing straight pool. This is not as connect the dots. Here I'm thinking, I've got the angle I want now. Why not just float forward? Because that 4 doesn't really. There's not a really good way to get back down table. Whereas if I go like this, get this angle again with a pretty good shot. Here it's really connect the dots. So this is an example, I think, of taking a harder shot to really simplify the rack. Because if I make that 4, it's 1 hard shot and 4 easy ones. If I make the 1 easy shot, then I got 4 potentially impossible shots. I scramble to get those balls at the end of the table. And this is fine. I actually somehow managed not to hit this one that great. I think I hit the inside of the pocket here. Yeah, that could have been bad. Could have hooked myself. You see my shaking my head, but made out alright. I'm on the side of the ball I want to be on. This is the follow side of the ball, where you can kind of let this go. Just a quick note about the equipment, by the way. This is a Richard Black Q, 1980 after 6 model. 13 millimeter shafts with an ivory ferrule, single layer tip. It's a gold crown 1 with the original rails, the Monarch rails. Pocket size are 4 3/4, 4.75. So I want to open up those 2 balls that are married to each other towards the end of the table there. But I also felt pretty good about going to the balls off this 3. You get stuck here a lot, but I knew that I would have that stripe ball as an insurance ball. And I wind up with this really fortunate sort of 1 ball in the corner here, because this allowed me to get a good angle on that. Looks like the 11 ball on the end rail to open up this 6-15. And I got pretty good here, because I got an angle to go into the balls again here. This is not, you don't always have to whack these kind of shots real hard. In fact, this is a circumstance where you don't want to hit it real hard. You want to make sure you get everything loose, but you don't want to hit everything so hard that everything goes up table. You don't got a break ball. This could have turned out bad too. I could have had no shot on this too, but I think I wound up being able to play this in the side. So I don't want to leave that 4 and that either the 10 or the 12 ball up there too long. Looks like the 7's my break ball. And those 2 balls that are underneath the 7 are a little tricky. Because I think that stripe, I don't know if the 5 might go past the 7. But you want to tighten this pattern up pretty quick. So yeah, I want to get those balls out of the way. That 7 may be in the rack. I don't know. It looks like I'm playing like it is. Yeah, I think it is. Oh yeah, no, I remember. I try and make something happen here. Yep, I try and manufacture a break shot here. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but it winds up working. 13 is still in the rack a little bit. I have just enough angle on that 7 where I can pocket the 7 and bump the 13 up just a little bit more for a break shot, which is what I do. Yeah. So from here, this is an example of where you want to leave the balls on the rail. That 6 is a great key ball. And the ball that you can't see right now because I'm in the way leads to the 4 ball, which leads to the 6. All I got to do is make this pretty easy straight-in shot. Four, 6, and you're on the 13. 13 is not really in a good space, though. It's a little too far over. It's on the outside English part of the rack. If it's over a little bit more towards me right now, that's where you hit it with high inside English. But here you want to go outside English. I'm just taking a look where I want to get. This is another shot where you want to err on the side of coming up too far. Because if you come up too short, it's game over. Whereas if you go too far, you still got a manageable way to get through the rack. Okay, 92 ball run. Not too bad. But this break shot, and the yield that I get off of it, is probably part of the reason this run ends at 100. I remember the shot that I missed. It's not the shot that I missed, but where I broke down. I could have run more than 100 here. I just didn't get far back enough on a certain ball, so that I went into a dead ball. It really didn't open up. But you can see, I'm not. The contact that the cue ball is making on this rack is really limited to those 2 corner balls there. Now, it doesn't really open up the rack as much as it would if this break ball were further over. You see, it just doesn't really get them open. I could have hit this shot harder, but I didn't want to, because I didn't want this cue ball up either going in the side pocket following the ball or winding up in no man's lane all the way up table if I really whacked it. I had 2 good opportunities here to get into the balls. Not here, but I probably could have worked my way around to get a better angle on that ball, but I decided to shoot it off. By the way, I had no idea what I was running here. I had no idea this was a 100 ball run until I went back and looked at the video. I knew it was something big, but I didn't know it was 100. So here I'm trying to get an angle on the 4, and I really didn't do a good job going to the balls here. I was a little timid because it was possible I could scratch or wind up on the back rail, and if I wind up on the back rail, that's it. It's game over. There's no shot back there. I don't really have a shot here. I mean, I hit a really good shot making this 5. I just noticed that the 1 ball is dead in the corner, but I don't really have an angle to get on it. Neither of those 2 balls go in the corner. So this is just bear down. Make sure you're aligned. Keep still. Get your eyes quiet. And just make it. Doesn't always go in. On a good day it goes in, and on a bad day you 3-rail it back into the stack, and your opponent's starting off with an easy run. I did not get back far enough on this ball. If I had gotten further up by the side pocket and could have followed my cue ball into this stack, I probably would have run, over 100. But you'll see what happens here. Nothing. I got just the perfect angle where absolutely nothing moves. This 9 ball is dead in the corner. It's just the angle I'm at oh, I shouldn't say it's dead. It's makeable, but not from where I'm at. It's lined up to the pocket. Um, but the way that I'm cutting this, I knew it was going to throw it um, long. I knew it was going to sort of push the ball away from it, but I figured, maybe if I put some outside English. But no, that's it. So, thanks everyone for watching if you stuck around this long. But I highly recommend those videos. Um, again, I'll put the link in the description. But so long for now. If I get another 100 ball run up, I'd be happy to share it. Thanks for watching.